Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey again, guys. So we finished recording our main podcast today, and we were just having a little post-game chat, and then up on Twitter pops the news that apparently Maurizio Sarri has resigned as manager of Lazio. Now, we did touch in the main podcast on their recent struggles. We said definitely not trending towards the European fight, but we thought we couldn't ignore this news. So this is really a snap reaction, guys. We're getting this news as it's coming in, but I thought since we're all still here together, let's just talk about it quickly. Mina, is this a shock? I think it's a shock that's happening now to me, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it seems like relations between him and Claudio Lotito were really falling apart, to be honest with you. So it seemed like we had understood last week that he wasn't going to stay and fulfill his contract until 2025, and that he would be leaving at the end of the season. That's what I understood. But then obviously there have been lots of comments as well made by Lazio, for example, that have chosen to say, we stand behind our coach. Lotito was very proud of their performance against Bayern Munich. But Sarri keeps taking these pot shots about the fact that the transfer market wasn't to his liking, that he wasn't getting what he wanted, that he doesn't feel the squad is where it needs to be for the kind of objectives that have been ultimately set for him. People are very disappointed in perhaps the way that Lazio is performing, and he's saying, well, we're in all these different competitions. I don't have the players that I want or the depth that I need, so please don't expect too much from me. So it seems like there's obviously been a rift now between the two main men at Lazio. I did think that he would stay till the summer. They obviously lost last night on Monday evening against Udinese 2-1. Another terrible result for them. That's fourth in a row and 12th in the league, which hasn't happened now for, I believe, 14 years. So I know that Lotito seems to be incredibly angry at what's going on. So am I shocked with the way that with Lotito in charge and Sarri? Probably not, to be honest with you, but I'm shocked because I don't think Lazio can do better. Just
to touch on that, there's been clear tension, certainly since the last transfer window, and there was an interview a couple of weeks ago now where Sarri was being asked again about Kamada and Castellanos and the use of those players, and basically said, "Well, I'm not the one who chose these players." So, and he gave this sort of quite terse pushback when being asked about Claudio Lotito's suggestions that there had been collaboration in the transfer market, and saying, well, look, if I ask for player A and then you tell me I can choose between player C or player D, I haven't really been in charge of the transfer market, have I? So he's been pretty unambiguous in his feelings about the transfer market. and working with Claudio Lotito is famously not the easiest thing to do, is it, Patrick?
It's not, and it's a tricky one. I wonder whether he just feels he needs a break, Sarri, at this stage. I mean, he's 65. He clearly feels that this season has got nothing left to offer. They've gone out of the Champions League. They look like they're not going to qualify for next season's Champions League, and it is
crazy just to remember they were second last season. Sorry to cut you in there.
Absolutely. That's the point I was just
season.
about to get to. The fact that he almost set unusually or unrealistically high expectations himself by finishing as runners-up to Napoli last season, albeit it's one of those second-place finishes with a slight asterisk in that last season, whether you were second, third or fourth didn't really matter because Napoli was so far ahead, obviously, in terms of prestige, in terms of financial rewards, there is a slight incentive to finish higher up the table. And, it's Lazio finishing second for the first time in 20 years and all of that stuff. But he's always been very disdainful about the Coppa Italia. So even though Lazio are still in that and they have a two-legged semi-final coming up against Juventus, he made no secret of the fact that he wasn't particularly targeting that competition. He said they just wanted to win the derby as opposed to make it through to a semi-final. So there's someone who can come in there as a caretaker and win a trophy immediately. It's a little bit sort of Roberto Di Matteo with Chelsea Champions League situation, albeit it's only the Coppa Italia in inverted commas. But it is tricky to work with Lotito, as you said, who's quite old school as an owner, who's very hands-on as well, who's always sort of front and centre. There are comparisons to De Laurentiis in Naples where, it's the president is very visible. The president is always at the training ground at Formello. The president is always making it a point of this is X number trophy under 20 years of my presidency. And, so that can be quite difficult for these big personalities when they're head coach. And we know about the Italian model. It is a case of typically you're a head coach and you work with the players made available to you and the sporting director handles the recruitment. So if you are able to have a slight say on recruitment, it's more typically targeting certain profiles, positions that you want, and then a shortlist is drawn up so you can have, as you said, option A, B, C and D. And clearly Lazio can be reluctant to spend. And I think so he's looked at it and probably thinks that his squad is worse off this season than it was last season, when obviously they had Milinkovic-Savic, who was never adequately replaced. And I think a lot of the soul has gone out of Lazio with that departure. It's a shame because you always want to see a coach finish a season, but it just shows, doesn't it? Sarri, we thought he was going to be on the market this summer. Whether he will be on the market to look for another job or he wants to take a sabbatical remains to be seen. But in the meantime, we've got a vacancy at one of Italy's big clubs.
Yeah, I imagine.
Bring Jose Mourinho back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness. Could you imagine?
I would be so. Oh, I would love it. I would love it so much.
Just as devil's advocate, I do wonder whether Sarri regrets resigning now when he could have done it 3 weeks ago and maybe gone back to Naples for the rest of the season and tried to. Do you know what I mean? Like
you can't do two teams in the same year.
Yeah, two teams.
What, even if you're out of a job?
Yeah. Serie A rules. So Jose Mourinho can't take over.
They have to be from different divisions, don't they? We just saw that with Ballardi. It's such a nonsense. It's such a nonsense, that rule. But it's...
Actually, no, I don't, because this is the point. Like, as in, imagine you are Lazio who are trying to keep Sarri and then he decides to leave you for Napoli. That's the reason why the rule exists.
But can't you make the argument it's, someone leaving a team from a different division and going up to Serie A, that's the same thing. You're still losing someone further up the food chain. Do you see what I mean? But yeah, I think they need to do. I think it's holding Italian football back a little bit, that rule, to be honest. But there we go.
I'm curious as to who the. I don't imagine Lazio will go straight out and appoint their next big manager, but they're going to need to find someone to get them to the end of the season. I'm curious to think who that will be. I haven't got a Daniele De Rossi equivalent in mind who's so obviously sort of there and present as the candidate, but I'm sure there will be someone who will fill that role. Who probably might see the name.
Sandro Nesta.
Yes. Okay. Sandro Nesta would be a fascinating choice. As someone to get the opportunity.
Is it Reggiana? I think
if Pippo Inzaghi comes back, then he can start to retrace Simone Inzaghi's career and just start the whole. Maybe it's like a cycle made for Inzaghi's, right? But he can't come in as well because he was said anytime. Yeah, so I get that. So.
I think Lazio, unfortunately, are going to be looking a while before they find another coach as stable and successful for them as Simone Inzaghi was. Of course, he didn't do quite the things he's doing with Inter there, but it's a different club with different possibilities. He did lead them to cup successes and had a really prolonged and again stable under Lotito, which doesn't feel like something that's inevitable at all. Chapter. As I said, guys, that was just a quick one because we got this news as we were just wrapping up. So I'm sure we'll have more to say about Lazio and whoever does come in to fill that gap on the next episode. But for now, that's it from us.
Serie A Chronicles production.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.